Recently, an image was published from a ceremony in which a high-ranking officer of the Iranian Air Force was shown receiving a model of the J-20 fifth-generation fighter jet from a Chinese military attaché in Iran. This symbolic handover could suggest that Iran is positioning itself to become the first export operator of China's most advanced operational fighter. While this event does not constitute a definitive confirmation that Iran intends to acquire the J-20, in this video, we will examine what the procurement of the J-20 would mean for Iran's air power capabilities and the implications for its adversaries. In addition, we will assess the potential advantages the J-20 could offer over the Sukhoi 35 Superflanker, which Iran has ordered from Russia. Like and subscribe if you want to support the channel in the algorithm. Now let's start. Due to the escalating tensions between Iran and its adversaries in recent months, numerous rumors have circulated regarding Iran's acquisition of Chinese weaponry. Among these were reports concerning the J-10 fourth-generation light multi-role fighter. Indeed, when compared with the J-20, China would appear considerably more inclined to export this fighter to Iran, having previously done so in a deal with Pakistan. However, the reality remains that the J-10 would probably be inadequate for addressing Iran's air power requirements. Its deployment would constitute a highly symmetrical response to the fighter aircraft types operated by Iran's potential adversaries. Given Iran's constrained resources and its unwillingness to commit substantial financial means toward fighter jet acquisitions that would necessitate operating a large fleet for a symmetric response, such an approach is not practicable for Iran. It is through asymmetric concepts that air power becomes strategically viable for Iran and its threat situation. A principle exemplified by the Sukhoi 35 Superflanker currently on order. This fighter, which is examined in a two-part video series on the channel, link provided above, is a heavy-class fighter optimized for high-altitude, high-speed operations. Its kinematic reserves enable it the choice to determine whether to initiate or decline engagement. And its onboard armaments enable secure, beyond visual range, long-distance air-to-air missile launches that mitigate the threats posed by the numerical superiority of adversary fighter types, such as the F-16 and F-35. Such light fighters are fundamentally at heavy disadvantage when pursuing the Sukhoi 35 should the latter decide to disengage and exit the battle space. These attributes are precisely the kind of critical capabilities that underpin Iran's asymmetrical air power doctrine. The compact J-10 is inherently unable to enable such capabilities, and is therefore susceptible to adversary air power, necessitating prohibitively large quantities to symmetrically offset that vulnerability. Consequently, should China prove willing to supply Iran with the J-20, particularly given that Beijing is already engaged in the development of at least two sixth-generation fighter jet designs, the J-20 could complement the Sukhoi 35 in several key fields. However, for Iran's particular context, the distinctions between the Superflanker and the J-20 are more nuanced than they might initially appear. The most immediately apparent advantage of the J-20 is its low observable stealth design, a feature the Sukhoi 35 lacks. Yet, when considering Iran's specific circumstances and the adversaries it faces, the practical benefit of this stealth capability may be more limited than is commonly assumed. The J-20's shaping and material composition, like all other fifth-generation fighters, are specifically optimized to counter X-band radars, which are commonly employed by fighter aircraft and for tracking. This results in a substantially reduced radar cross-section during pure air-to-air engagements where off-board sensors, such as airborne early warning radars that predominantly operate in the S-band, are unavailable. However, against S-band radars, the stealth features of all fifth-generation fighter jets are considerably less effective. Consequently, given the adversaries Iran faces and their operation of E-2 and E-3 airborne early warning platforms, along with ground-based sensors emitting below the X-band, these external sensor inputs could very well facilitate long-range air-to-air missile launches. Examples of such emerging threats include the new U.S. AIM-174 air-to-air missile and the forthcoming AIM-260, which is intended to replace the AIM-120 AMRAAM, and is expected to enter widespread service on US-made fighters in the near future. That said, low observability in the X-band remains an important added advantage that any fighter pilot would desire, as it can provide the narrow margin that determines survival. For Iran, however, this stealth advantage may be of very low importance in scenarios requiring J-20 missions over Iraq or Syria, hostile airspaces dominated by key adversaries such as the United States. The stealth advantage becomes significantly more favorable for distant operations above the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. In these maritime environments, the reduced density of sensors, especially the drastic reduction of surface-based sensors, enable X-band stealth to be employed far more effectively. This allows the J-20 to evade X-band radars it has passively detected via its ESM suite. As oceans increasingly emerge as critical future battle spaces, driven by the proliferation of area denial and anti-access weaponry across the militaries of major powers, the ability to leverage the J-20's stealth advantage in maritime operations could constitute a key factor in Iran's potential decision to pursue the J-20, rather than acquiring additional Sukhoi 35 superflankers. Beyond these widely recognized attributes of the J-20, there exist other, far less discussed aspects, and deep dive defense stands as one of the rare sources that addresses them. To make it short, the J-20 is a kinematic monster, engineered for persistent supersonic supercruise over the oceans of the Indo-Pacific region. Range and speed constituted the driving design parameters for this aircraft, and when compared with other fifth-generation designs, such as the United States Air Force's F-22 Raptor, it becomes readily apparent that the J-20's larger airframe accommodates substantially greater fuel reserves, resulting in a significant kinematic advantage. The propulsion technologies of the now more than two-decade-old F-22 may still surpass those of the Chinese WS-15 engines, or its predecessor, the WS-10C, which might be fitted on export variants of the J-20. But any deficiency in engine efficiency is offset by the J-20's superior fuel capacity and its aerodynamic configuration, a delta canard layout optimized for high-speed performance. However, should Iran be permitted to equip its potential J-20 with the newest WS-15 engine variant, its propulsion technology could approach the levels of the F-119 powering the F-22 from the early 2000s. Armed with this advanced propulsion and its inherently high kinematic performance, the heavy J-20, much like the Sukhoi 35, constitutes an outstanding high-altitude fighter, a decisive metric in modern air-to-air warfare. One simple reason is that the higher and faster a fighter flies, the earlier it can launch beyond visual range air-to-air missiles. This provides a critical initial kinematic advantage, called F-pole, for the air-to-air missile. However, there exists another advantage in high-altitude air-to-air warfare beyond kinematic superiority. Namely, the higher an aircraft flies, the more degraded the endgame turn capability of incoming air-to-air missiles, such as the US AMRAAM, becomes. The thin atmosphere means that their small aerodynamic steering surfaces may fail to generate the G-forces necessary to strike a fighter jet that attempts to evade at the exact right moment via its automatic missile approach and warning system. Russian designs, including the Sukhoi 35 and Sukhoi 57 Felon, possess the advantage of thrust vector control, which grants them high instantaneous turn rate, independent of the thin air at altitudes between 18 and 20 kilometers. The US F-22 was the first American fighter jet to operationally possess that advantage as well. The competitor of the F-22 in the 1980s Advanced Tactical Fighter Program, namely the Northrop YF-23, lacked thrust vector control. While the detailed requirements of the US ATF program have not been publicized, it is widely assumed that high-altitude instantaneous turn capability was a critical criterion in that competition. It is believed that the YF-23 solved this challenge by employing large aerodynamic control surfaces, specifically its all-moving vertical tail fins of unusually large size. Would these surfaces, synchronized with all other flight control surfaces, automatically steered the aircraft into an evasive direction. Its turning performance in thin air might have matched that of the F-22 equipped with thrust vectoring nozzles. This would imply that the YF-23 could have fulfilled the potential ATF requirement for high instantaneous turn capability to evade missiles in high-altitude environments. The J-20 similarly lacks thrust vectoring nozzles and opts for more efficient, conventional fixed-round nozzles. Yet, just as with the YF-23 in the ATF competition, the J-20 possesses unusually large aerodynamic surfaces that can be utilized to steer the aircraft with significant authority in thin air conditions. As an aerodynamically unstable delta canard layout, the J-20 features very large all-moving canards at the front, which act as vortex generators for improved lift, move the center of lift forward, and are powerful steering control surfaces. Furthermore, like the YF-23 and the Sukhoi 57 Felon, the J-20 is fitted with all-moving vertical tail fins. When combined with the canards, these fins would provide the J-20 with high instantaneous turn capability at very high altitudes, utilizing only its aerodynamic surfaces, and more or less eliminating the need for thrust vectoring nozzles. Hence, when compared to the Sukhoi 35 Superflanker on order by Iran, the J-20 offers comparable high-altitude warfare capabilities but with improved range, stemming from its larger size and greater fuel reserves, as well as the added benefit of stealth. This stealth advantage then proves valuable in expeditionary missions conducted outside Iran's integrated air defense system, particularly above the Indian Ocean. An additional benefit is its large, modern, multi-role active electronically scanned array (AESA) radar. Although little is known about it when compared against the well-known Sukhoi 35's Irbis, brute force, passive electronically scanned array radar, it is rumored that the Chinese have made unique advances in transceiver modules fabricated from gallium nitrate semiconductors. Furthermore, the J-20 offers the option of a twin-seat variant, which the Sukhoi 35 does not provide. The twin-seat J-20S variant would enable the second pilot to utilize the powerful, multi-role ESA radar as long-range data link to coordinate with forward-deployed drones, a crucial advantage in future warfare scenarios where satellite communication could be degraded or altogether unavailable. Iran is certainly working on different loyal wingman-type drones, with public projects like the Ghair F-313. One critical consideration for Iran when acquiring new aircraft platforms is its capacity to produce the essential spare parts required for their sustained maintenance. In the case of the Sukhoi 35 Superflanker, Iran has an ongoing project on the Soviet-origin AL-31 engine design for the production of an indigenous variant. This existing industrial base could be adapted to manufacture critical hot section engine components, such as turbine blades, provided the Russian side agrees to supply the technical documentation for the AL-41 engine. Quite intriguingly, a parallel situation exists with the J-20's WS-10 and WS-15 engines. These power plants trace the origins of their engine core to the Franco-American CFM-56 engine. Notably, beside them in China, the only other country in the world that produces components for the CFM-56 engine core is Iran. This creates a circumstance identical to that of the Superflanker's engines. Iran possesses the foundational capability to produce the hot section engine parts, depending upon the Chinese being willing to provide the corresponding technical documentation. Such documentation could then be used to adapt Iran's existing CFM-56 component production lines to fabricate those for the WS-15 or WS-10, like turbine blades. Components of this critical nature, which must be regularly replaced or overhauled, could become a severe bottleneck should the originating nation cease cooperation for any reason. Ordinary nations lacking the necessary turbine industry would require long-term, high-effort industrial support from the Chinese or Russians to eventually attain the ability to produce such parts. This is not the case for Iran, which already manufactures turbine components closely related to those used in the engines of the two new aircraft platforms it may acquire, the Sukhoi 35 and the J-20. In conclusion, the handover of the J-20 model to the Iranian Air Force general is not, in itself, a smoking gun. However, when contextualized alongside China's emerging sixth-generation fighter jet designs and Iran's threat environment as a country of strategic importance to Chinese national interests, it appears plausible that Iran may acquire an export variant of the J-20, thereby obtaining its first fifth-generation multi-role fighter jet. While the aircraft is in several respects very similar to the Russian Sukhoi 35 Superflanker, which Iran is slated to receive in the near future, it also introduces new capabilities that could prove critically significant in future war scenarios. Iran faced the most modern kind of warfare in history, just in summer 2025, during the 12-day conflict against Israel and the US. Specifically, the twin-seat variant could be game-changing for Iran, as it can function as a drone controller and solve the problem of communicating with drones operating far away. This would enable Iran to challenge adversaries such as the US Navy in the Indian Ocean, a mission with which the single-seat Superflanker would struggle considerably without support from loyal wingman-type drones and X-band stealth. The J-20 is certainly not an invisible stealth fighter that would permit Iran to conduct cartoonish mission scenarios, such as dropping guided bombs on Israel. Stealth, whether Chinese or American, is fundamentally too constrained to facilitate such simplistic scenarios against advanced opponents. Nevertheless, the possession of fifth-generation air power is something that Iran's asymmetrical approach in this domain would undoubtedly welcome, and in this regard, a rather compact-sized fleet of J-20 is an ideal choice. So that's all for today. If you liked it, give a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. It really makes a difference in the YouTube algorithm and is a great support to the channel. The Real Enthusiast can become members and given access to exciting membership area material. Thanks for your support and motivation. See you next time.